It feels so intimate. I thought I could do it without the mic, but let's do this. So, hi everyone. Thanks for having me. Welcome to Miami. For the ones who are not from here, I live here, so for me it's just like an hour traffic to come here. Like without F1 would be much faster, but with F1 it's counterintuitive. With F1 is slow, right? The cars. So I'm super happy to be here. I've been attending or participating on Brand Innovators for more than 10 years now. I think my first event with Brand Innovators was in maybe like 2013 in London. I was still at Unilever back in the day. Yeah, I was working for Dove. I spent 18 years in Unilever, by the way. It was like a lifetime. Um, it never felt that long because I was moving around quite a bit. And then after Unilever, at the end of 13, I moved to Miami and I joined Burger King. Burger King is still based here in Miami, in Blue Lagoon, next to the airport. Burger King then became RBI, Restaurant Brands International. The company acquired Popeyes, Tim Hortons, and I ended up like becoming the CMO for RBI. Had the opportunity to work with Rogelio, who is awesome, as you guys probably know, because he was presenting just before. And it's an amazing team at RBI, and the people who are still there are awesome, and the people who left because Moção Coors with Marcelo, Rogelio, outside too. But like it was a great moment in time. We did some really cool work, not just for Burger King, for Popeyes too, for Tim Hortons, and I'm super proud of that work. After almost 7.5 years ish, and post pandemic, not post pandemic, but like at the tail of the pandemic, I got an invitation to go and work for Activision Blizzard. I was always a big fan of gaming. Way before they called me for the first time. I have every single video game you guys can think of. Um, True, like you can ask my wife; she will be very critical about that. Um, and so I stayed with Activision Blizzard for 2 years. I always wanted to work on a place that were like digitally native because we did a lot of digital transformation at RBI. I did a bit of digital transformation at Unilever, but it's different. I mean, all the investment from Activision Blizzard was digital. I mean, the performance marketing team were like 450 people, so it was a very different like environment than RBI. I was there for 2 years, was not thinking about leaving, but then a company that I always admire from distance and that I got to know about then when I was at Burger King, gave me a call, and that was NotCo. It's a food tech startup. I will talk a little bit about that on my presentation, but I was always a fan of the brand. I was always intrigued about a company that was named the Not Company, and all products start with Not. And Rogelio is here, and he'll not allow me to lie. Like the type of marketing that we both like to do is very disruptive. It's basically like not marketing. So I thought it would be fun to work on a startup for real. Meaning, we always work as if we were a startup at Burger King, but it wasn't, right? And the things that I'm most proud of that we did, they were done in a very small budget in reality. So I thought, what if we what if I go and work on a startup for real, pre-IPO, with a founder that's awesome and very like-minded in terms of the ambition for the business and for creativity, and that's how I joined NotCo officially a month ago. Unofficially, since like end of last year, I had a ton of holidays to take, so I just took holidays and started to think about the brand. Don't tell that to anyone. Um, so the presentation is called "Think of a Color That Doesn't Exist," which probably doesn't make any sense to you, and hopefully during the presentation it will start to make a little bit more sense. And AI, right? I mean, I think it's hard to be in a presentation where where people don't talk about AI. This is the cover of The Economist from last month, from April. And yeah, there are two sides to anything, right? I mean, to social media, to any new technology brings potential upside and risks, right? In the case of AI, I mean, people talk a lot about trust, right? I mean, deep fake and all that stuff that AI can help you do. Like, will that erode trust? Like the voice, chat GPT, right? I mean, trust on um, like the grades that people are getting in college, if you know what I mean. There is a long list of things that I could talk about beyond trust. I could talk about privacy. I could talk about bias, right? I mean, those are all like really like hot topics when it comes to AI. I am Brazilian. I'm hopeless optimistic about things. And I think that sure, we need to maybe like find the right way to manage like some of this risk. But I see much more upside on AI than downside on AI. And hopefully the combination of humans plus AI will help us solve problems that we can't solve by ourselves. That's how I see it. Like every time I post something about AI, someone goes there and writes like, "Oh, the agency is going to fire everyone and is going to use AI." I don't believe on those things. Like I really believe on AI as a tool for you to work with it to accomplish something. And one of the things that I believe AI can help us tackle is climate change and anything related to sustainability. Like this is not the cover from the Washington Post from last month. This is from 4 years ago, and I love this because they did 24. I think it was like 24 covers, different covers on the same edition, because they were trying to tackle climate change through different angles. Like there are lots of flat earthers, like I think that's how it says, right? Like out there. So they really like try to like make sure that you cover on every angle. Um, and I was always like very passionate about this. Actually I was always very passionate about business that does stuff that is good for people and good for the society and good for the environment. We are trying to do a little bit of that at RBI, trying to do a little bit of that on Activision. And I think that's really like centered to the work that we are doing at NotCo. This is the purpose for NotCo. For the sake of the planet, let's invent the food industry one delicious mouthful at a time. Um, and and when I talk about the products, you understand why we say for the sake of the planet. Um, so what Notco does, like, and this is kind of like how I explained to my mom, like we have an AI. The name of the AI is Giuseppe, and we use the AI. We partner humans plus AI. Like we have like a team of food scientists, R&D, chefs. So we we use AI to basically like analyze animally derived products to create the plant-based version of those products. Actually, we do more than just that, and I will talk to you about that later on. But I spare my mom from that part of the explanation because it can get a little bit more complicated. So what do? Like we take an animal product and we do a whole like chromatography study. We analyze like all the physical properties of the product. So imagine if it's a cream cheese, how does it spread? Like how does it break? Like how does it like how does it drop? Right? I mean, we do all that analysis on the physical properties. We do a chromatography study as one example of the studies that we do, which basically like shows like which molecules like have a spike in terms of the formulation, and then we input all that into our AI, which basically like proposes like five different, I'm oversimplifying here, okay? But propose like five different formulations for you to accomplish that taste and that texture and the physical properties of the product. And then the chefs go prepare the recipe, try, and go back to the AI and say like, oh, number three was the best one. And then the AI takes that information and does another five, and they cook it and prepare it again. And then number two was the best one. So the AI keeps like working with them and optimizing that thing, so it converges to a product that basically like matches like the animal derived product. This is the not chicken patty, just as an example, right? It's a product we just launched in the US. And in comparison to real chicken, it uses 86% less water and produces 73% less CO2. So this is just an example. I could talk about energy, I could talk about other things in terms of environmental footprint. And that's true to basically like every single product. Um, this is not milk. And I like this picture because it basically explains some of the key ingredients of not milk: cabbage, pineapple, coconut. So the AI doesn't care like about like what ingredient you use. So why when you go to your, if you're fancy or if you walk around, you go to Panther Coffee and they will offer you oat milk or like any almond milk. Like that's one single ingredient on the formulation. Because we use a combination of ingredients, we can do stuff that maybe some of the other guys can't. So our product foams much better in cold, foams much better in like hot. Um, if I don't know how much you guys drink of cappuccino or almond milk or oat milk, but it doesn't foam so well. Like if you try to do latte art on the product, it doesn't work. On our product, it does because we optimize for that. We use AI to optimize for that. On the chicken patty, I didn't say, but there is a strawberry. There is a bunch of stuff that's combined, makes the texture and makes the taste of the product. And milk is 84% less water, 79% less CO2. Um, and, and everything that I presented to you guys so far is what I call plant-based 1.0. It's kind of like what all plant-based companies have done so far. But the beauty of AI or the way we do things is that we can do stuff that's not just matching the animal product, right? So, for instance, and these are some real examples, okay, that we haven't launched yet. I can go and say, hey, Giuseppe, this is chocolate. The chromatography study, what molecules spike, like what is the physical attributes of the product and all that stuff. And I can tell Giuseppe, like, Giuseppe, humans love this, okay? Create a flavor that's not this, but based on the fact that humans love this, that humans will also like, and Giuseppe can create a flavor that doesn't exist, and that to me is very like a breakthrough. When I was a kid, and I know it will sound like a joke, but it's not. I was good with numbers. I love drawing. I used to do a lot of daydreaming too. I think that you can tell. And I thought, I swear to you, like when I was like probably like 10, 12 years old, I used to think like, oh, what if I can think of a color that doesn't exist? And for obvious reasons, I failed, right? Because that's freaking impossible. How the hell you're going to do that? But the AI can do that, not with color, but with flavor. Like I can go to Giuseppe and say, hey, I want you to create a milk that brings childhood memories. I want to create like a chicken that brings you joy or a cereal bar that brings you joy. We can do that type of stuff today. And that to me is where plant-based will evolve to. Like instead of just matching the current product, I think we will probably be able to add emotion, to create new taste, to make something that's healthier, like something that's more sustainable that we already do. Um, and I brought two examples, and I hope I'm okay with time. I brought two examples of campaigns that we did also leveraging AI, which kind of tap into that thinking, into like, hey, we can create stuff that doesn't exist, right? And this one is based on this insight that if you think about any farm animal, it's usually like if you're a normal person, you think of the animal in kind of like either young age or like a mature age. No one thinks of an old cow or an old pig, right? I mean, if I ask you like, what's the last time you saw an old cow or an old pig or an old chicken, the answer is probably like never, right? And the reason why that's the answer is that the natural lifespan of these animals is much longer in real life, but um, because of the way these animals are used in the food industry, they live much less, right? I mean, just as an example here, pig 23 years old, in the meat industry is 12 months, and that's why one of the reasons why you can think of an old animal. So what we did, because we use AI to create our food, and I will do a parenthesis here in a second, we asked AI how these animals would look like if they were old. And I love that because I see lots of, and don't take this as criticism, but like I see lots of brands doing AI stuff because it's hot. And I understand that. And if I were at BK, I would probably do AI stuff too. Um, but I think in our case makes even more sense because our business model is rooted in AI. Like that's how we create the product. It's not just like, oh, because it's hot. So that's what we did on Mid Journey. And you cannot see here. So I have it like a little bit larger here, the copy. So the headline is Imagine, which is the prompt from Mid Journey, a pig living up to 23 years old. And then the copy is, have you ever seen an old pig? Probably not. In the food industry, a pig can live as little as 25 weeks, despite living decades in nature. So we use AI to create this image just like we do with our food. At NotCo, we use AI to analyze the molecular structure of animal-derived products and replicate its flavor and nutrition with plants. And that's how we are reinventing the food industry for good. I have a case study for that, and I think it's pretty cool because it has the time lapse of the animals. I will play that one. Hopefully, the sound will work. It's less than 2 minutes, so here we go. So we are really proud of that one. Like it was rather inexpensive to do. Thank you. Because it was all done on Mid Journey, basically. It was tricky to do the time lapse. That requires some work because I think each has like 300 different images on Mid Journey, and we just like have to stitch them together so that they work so well. But yeah, like we got a ton of coverage. There was a positive impact on sales. I cannot talk about that yet, but like it was something that also made the entire company proud. And we haven't spoken about AI too much before. Now, that was the first time we overtly spoke about AI to consumers. The other one, it's a radio ad. And I have three of them, but because I want to make sure that we have proper time for Q&A and we're going to have like the fireside chat with Ryan, I would just play one. Like, I think that based on the names, you probably can guess like more or less what the other versions are, but I will play this one because I think it's more fun. A lot of people like to call me fake, but I'm like, what's so wrong with that? Sometimes fake is better than the real thing. My friends from NotCo get it. They use artificial intelligence that literally analyzes the molecular structure of chicken to replicate the flavor and texture with plant-based ingredients. They call it not chicken, and it's amazing. These people really know what it takes to run a business. It's certified vegan. It's non-GMO. And my kids really love it. The AI is so good, I swear you literally cannot tell the difference between not chicken and the real thing. I mean, could you tell that this voice was recreated by an AI? Not chicken. Available now at Sprouts and Instacart. Yeah, so that was really fun. If you want, I can play one more. Let's see if it works here. Wait. No, I like Morgan better. Since the dawn of time, man has hunted beasts in the quest to find sustenance. But today, our reliance on animal products is wreaking havoc on the planet we call home. Luckily, the people at NotCo have a solution. Through artificial intelligence, they analyze products like beef on a molecular level. It replicates the taste and texture using a database of 300,000 plant-based ingredients. It's called Not Burger. Compared to beef, Not Burger emits 95% fewer CO2 emissions and uses 93% less water. And it's better for my cholesterol. The same sizzle, the same pop, the same flavor, but generated by an AI. Just like this AI voice you're hearing right now. Not Burger. Available now at Whole Foods. Cool. Awesome. It's available here in Miami too, Whole Foods and Instacart. Um, Oh, I heard you, Ken. Yeah. So this is really like the mindset of the company. You know what I mean? Like, we always question why not? Why can't we do this? And it's just great to work with such a talented group of like R&D and AI and marketing. I mean, the AI folks are amazing. Really, like they never worked with food before. You know, like for Giuseppe, he doesn't know it's food what he's optimizing for. So the technology could even optimize for anything. If you're asking why it's called Giuseppe, there is a good story around that too. I think that like I think it's early 1500, there was a Italian painter called Giuseppe Archimboldo. I'm probably butchering the last name, and he used to do these portraits using vegetables and fruits. It's very famous. If you Google, when you see the image, you know what I'm talking about. So the guys, when they created the AI, they thought it's like creating art or creating food with plants and vegetables. So they leverage the name as for the AI, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. So like, look, I mean, this is all. Well, the last part isn't, but like, this is all like early days in terms of the company, in terms of AI in general. And I'm a truly believer on the technology. And I think that the stuff that we have on the pipeline, and I imagine other companies also have in the pipeline, will really change the way we consume food and hopefully also change the way we do healthcare or like the way we think about macroeconomics and all that good stuff. So I see as like a massive potential upside if we humans partner with AI to create stuff that doesn't exist today. And that's all I had for you guys today. Thank you very much. Thank you.